Hey, it's been a whirlwind. Good evening, good morning, good night, good afternoon, whoever you are, wherever you are. Hope you're having a good one today. It's been real so far. I don't know about so far so good, but it's been a real, ah, it's been crazy. This is yours truly, the Grand Queen coming at you. Welcome to the pit stop. Yeah, it's been just bananas and wild. Uh, I don't know. Today was just, the day was just like really cool. But like this evening, some wild stuff just jumped off. Um, but I'll get into that in a minute. Anyway, you're here again. Welcome to the pit stop mental health check-in tonight. Yeah, I just wanted to just, like I've been asking you for the past couple of weeks, bro, sis, you okay? You all right? You good? Bro, sis, you good? I'm hoping I am. Hoping I'm good with you. So again, welcome to the pit stop. This is yours truly, the Grand Queen Eve. Put a little tag on that, Eve. The Grand Queen Eve, aka Prof, aka Grand. Um, but welcome to the pit stop tonight. Just doing a little check in. It is almost the end of June and a new month, July, is coming up today. In a day or so, it'll be July 1st. However, it's about the heat and the hustle. So many people are hustling to go on vacation. So many people are hustling so they can go on vacation. Um, so many people are trying to beat the heat. What's your hustle? You know, tonight, the heat, it's about the heat and the hustle. So, yeah. And I just wanted to share with you, on how to beat the heat and how to get through the hustle. And again, today was just like really weird. And I guess sometimes that happens. Sometimes you just got to get weirder with it. Um, some cat was turning from the side road of my house, and guess what? I don't know. It's that road is just like crazy. Anyway, a lot of people always get lost going on that road, or they don't know where they're at. Again, they get lost. But this guy made a turn, and he made the turn and ran into my and skidded. He made that right turn. He skidded into my front yard, right there into my mailbox. Brand new mailbox. I haven't even had it for 2 years. I was livid. And yeah, I said some choice words because I couldn't catch him, but I caught him on my camera from the left and the front. So, but this is a community cat, and a lot of times people don't care when they're in the community. This doesn't go for everybody. This goes for people who just don't care. So for somebody who doesn't care and you're that kind of cat, then hey, what you put out in the atmosphere comes back to you. I'm just saying, heat or the hustle. It's about the heat and the hustle. Some people, they don't know what's meaningful, when it comes to the heat of life, and they don't know what's meaningful when it comes to the hustle in life. I'm just saying, but I'm here. Like I said, I was pissed off earlier, and right now I just want to cut through the chase of the noise of survival mode. I don't want to be on survival mode mentally, physically, socially, spiritually, financially. I want to always know not what to do, but I always want to know what does it mean? What's the next steps? So that's where I'm at right now. trying to figure out what does that mean and what's the next steps. Sometimes, you got to be tested to see where your headspace is at, to see how you deal with the issue, how you would deal with a problem. And, God will test you. He will test you to see where your headspace is at, to see how you handle an issue, how you handle a situation. So, yeah, so the thing is, we're not living in survival mode. Just reclaiming control of peace for peace sake. The purpose of me moving to a new space is to reclaim my peace and control it, what to make it meaningful. So, living longer and not living well, mentally, socially, spiritually, the whole 9 yards, it's not good. Like I said, today is about the heat and the hustle. So check in. Bro, sis, you good? Check in. Check in with yourself. You're your best asset. Check in with yourself. Audit your state of mind. I had to do that earlier. I had to audit my state of mind. I had to redefine, say, hey, am I going to let this situation get to me for what? When I need to find out what it means and what's the next steps. And that sort of like quelled the heat, the heated emotional part. It quelled it for now. Because, your headspace, the beginning and the end, the genesis and the end of a thing, you got to figure out like not what it is, but what's meaningful and what's the next steps. So, the weapons of our mentality are not to be reckoned with. We are so wonderfully and creatively made by the Creator that we don't even know our own powers. We don't even know how we really bring the heat and the hustle. I'm just saying. So yeah, so with that in mind, why things work the way it does is because that such is life, we have the power. God has given us the power of mind and thought to just be and do things like in the moment. Sometimes things happen in the moment and you really got to keep your head space, keep the heat where it belongs, and the hustle, take the hustle to the next step, the action, the call of action to the next step. So that's what the hustle represents for me, the call of action. What does it mean? And how to make things meaningful when the heat is on. I'm just saying. So, and it made me mindful of the ebook, God's Mind Over Our Matters, which I pinned. And chapter 7 just made me mindful. These are tools for all of us. I use my own tools. And chapter 7 came to mind because it talked about the power of God's mind over our matters, the heads or tails theory. A lot of people say, oh, heads or tails. Remember, we used to play a game, heads or tails. And anybody knows anything about that game, heads or tails. It's not just fun, but it's like, heads or tails, you win. Who wins, heads or tails? So in chapter 7 of my ebook, because the ebook it's really a tool to help you to understand the heat and the hustle of life. It's a spiritual guide to make things more meaningful, to make your life more impactful, to make your thoughts, because our thoughts are not regular. Our thoughts, the way God made us, we really mirror his consciousness. We reflect his consciousness, and we have to learn how to be about it. We have to learn what it means and to make it more meaningful within the thought process and how to bring, alignment to it. So yeah, chapter 7 is a reflection of living longer and not being in survival mode. Chapter 7 is it redefines wellness. Chapter 7 talks about balance and improving stability in your life. Chapter 7 actually, again, it's about the heat and the hustle. That's all. And it's about, just changing, pivoting, um, expanding a healthy mindset. I mean, not to say that you don't have a healthy mindset. It's nothing wrong with getting healthier, with having a healthier mindset and intercepting and removing, unfriending negativity. Those high vibrations. It's not worth anything. I was vibrating, man. I was high vibration to the 10th power earlier. And then I was like, you know what? I just prayed. I prayed. I said, God, forgive me, help me right now, because this is something to test me, but it's something to try to sidetrack me from the real assessment of myself and the real impact and outcome of the situation. In other words, the next steps. Because I'm the co-author of my life. God is the author and the finisher of our faith. And so we always have to have a call to action in whatever we do. So I had to pray. And after I prayed, my direction, my headspace was like, okay, I'm good. Like, that's why I was asked, bro, sis, you good? I had to question myself, like, girl, you good? Like that. So then I had to realize from chapter 7 that I'm not living, in survival mode, and that this is a new month coming up, is a new month. And yeah, the heat is on. It's such is life. The heat is on. The heat and the hustle. Right about now, it's about the heat and the hustle of summer going into fall, fall going into winter, winter going into spring. Every season is different. So you got to be equipped. You got to be equipped to survive the heat and the hustle. It's not either or, it's both. So, I had to shift my mindset. My mind had to shift. And because I've seen a time where something like that would have just burnt me, like I'd have been, my nerves would have been burnt. But at this time, listen, I have survived a narcissistic husband. I'm past survival mode. I got to tell you, I'm like 10 men right now. I'm a woman, but I feel like 10 men. I'm a firstborn, and anybody who understands the concept of a firstborn, you know how they rock. I just feel like I could just get through anything. I don't feel, and it's not even about my feelings. I'm talking about after I talk with God about things. That's my perception. After I talk with God, I perceive and I receive the right way. I perceive and I receive in peace and not in pieces. And it's good. It's all good. So run and don't walk. Get your heat and hustle tool, my ebook called God's Mind Over Our Matters, at Google Books, at Barnes & Nobles, online. You can just Google it and you'll see it. Again, it's at Barnes & Nobles and Amazon. And just Google it. You can even get it at Google Books at the Play Store as well. Right? So check out chapter 7. That's your heat and hustle go-to tool for the summer. And I'll be back with you. And get this book and tell me, share in the chat. Share with me at Just Us, J Tire Form 1, J Tire, JTIREFORM, the number 1 at YouTube. Share in the chat on your experience with chapter 7 and chapter 2. I shared with you chapter 2 the other day on what freedom means. Champions, on the characteristics of a champion, and that's you. And champs, they can take the heat because they know how to hustle. And your freedom words, I gave you a little assignment. What's your freedom word? Drop your freedom word in the chat at JTire Form 1 and at Grand Queen at TikTok. Drop your freedom word, because freedom, being a champion, understanding freedom, because I talked about Juneteenth, and the purpose of Juneteenth is not a celebration. It is life. That's the heat and the hustle. Juneteenth talks about freedom and the origin and the purpose and the meaning of how and why we are free as a people. And the next steps. I talked about the next steps in this, and my ebook will help you get to it, get through it, get with it. It brings the heat, and it'll help you get through the hustle. Peace, love, and joy. And I'll see you in a couple of days at the Just Stop It show. Again, please like and subscribe at Just Us at JTire Form 1 at YouTube. Just Us, JTire Form 1 at YouTube. Not only that, leave some valid information, leave some valid support for the heat and the hustle of the summer on how we can get through and maintain good mental health. What's your freedom words? It's attached to good mental health. And what's your heat and hustle words? That's attached to good mental health. Please leave it in the chat at JTire Form 1 at YouTube, at TikTok.